But first, our I-Team is back tonight with another chance for you to help solve a murder case in Louisville. This one happened 10 years ago.
Sabrina Bragg was a mother and grandmother who, like many of us, had her own struggles in life, but also like us, she had a family and loved her and misses her greatly.
That's right. And the I-Team's Derek Rose has their painful search to find justice for the woman they loved.
Another year gone, still no answers.
It was the worst feeling of your life. It was more scared. Like, I don't know why I was scared, but it's just a hurtful feeling.
That feeling for Sabrina Bragg comes every time she recalls the moment she learned her mother had been murdered.
But I really couldn't break down because I know how my family depends on me. So if I would have cried, I would have made my granny cry, I would have made my sisters them cry. So I just had to hold my composure until I got by myself.
It was in the early hours, November 21st, 2009. Sabrina Bragg, nicknamed Pinky, was gunned down in the area of 16th and Stone Alley. The killer pulled the trigger multiple times.
They shot her 9 times. She had two gunshot wounds to the head, 6 to the chest, and she had 1 in her butt. Like, it was overkill.
It was an overkill in the sense that they wanted her dead, and there was no doubt about that by seeing the shot placement on her body as well as the number of shell casings that were found on the ground.
Louisville Metro Police Detective Mickey Kahn was the lead investigator on the case.
Oftentimes that's a sign that it's somebody that knew her or that had something that they didn't want her to tell other people and that they wanted to make sure that she was no longer alive.
If it was left up to me, I'd say it sounded kind of personal. Somebody shoot that many times, but we don't know.
Bragg's daughter tells us her mother, at just 43 years old, was well loved by family and friends. Pinky was a mother of 6, including a set of twins, and also had 9 grandchildren. Days after she was murdered, more than 100 people gathered in the alley where she was killed to pray for answers and for the killer to be caught. But detectives would soon realize solving this case would be more complicated than they thought, primarily because of the painful struggles their victim was fighting in her personal life.
She had a drug addiction.
She was well known in the area there as being a prostitute, so she would frequent the areas and meet up with several males in the early morning hours.
Factors which only added more pain for Pinky's family.
I knew she was fighting a demon. Like, I knew she was on drugs and she didn't want to be like that. It was just something she couldn't shake.
Still, their hope for answers remains strong.
This particular case, the murder of Sabrina Bragg, there's not a doubt in my mind that somebody out there knows exactly what happened to her.
I just felt like they should do the right thing, because if this was your family, you would want somebody to do it for you. So why you can't just exchange the favor? Like, I can understand if y'all don't want to give your name because of the, the street code. I understand all of that, but you could at least call and just tell what you know and leave it at that.
That's a mentality I think that's evolved with the younger people in our community nowadays that is propagated by fear from those that are around them, knowing that if they talk to the police or give any information that they will be viewed as an outcast and labeled as a snitch. And to live in a community where you have to bear that title in fear for your own safety is a burden that's placed on them by others. But at some point, we've all got to get past that.
Now, the place where Pinky was pronounced dead is a place her daughter comes every day. Sabrina is an emergency room nurse at University Hospital, a place filled with constant reminders of her mother.
Because I see how the families come in there and they get the news, they break down, they cry, and it brings flashbacks.
And her empathy is instant.
It's a tough job to tell a family member that your family member didn't make it.
And she knows all too well the need for answers many of those families also share, regardless of how their loved one died.
It's the right thing to do. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, she was fighting a drug addiction, don't get me wrong, but she was still a human being too.
We view every victim the same, whether they be a prostitute, a drug user, or a wealthy, high-end individual. We treat everyone the same. Everyone has the same right to life. Everyone has the right to live their lives. No one has the right to take their lives. And regardless of the circumstances, we treat everyone the same.
You didn't have to take her away. Like, you probably looked at her as one way, but we looked at her another. Like, she was our mother. She was my kid's grandmother. And you just robbed us for that.
What the killer could not take was a daughter's mission to make her mother proud and smile from above.
It makes me happy. Just knowing that I'm doing something that put a smile on her face. It's just the best feeling in the world.
And profiling this cold case goes along with today's mission of focusing on the impact of violent crime in our community. But we want to take it a step further. That is where you at home come in. If there is something you know about the Bragg case or any homicide investigation or any crime, regardless of how unimportant you think that clue might be, LMPD still wants to hear it anyway. That number 574 LMPD. For the I-Team, I'm Derek Rose, WHAS 11 News.